TV. I'm Ernesto. I'm your host. I'll be with you for the next hour here. And Beretta, are you there with me on the line? Can you hear me right now? Hello, Beretta. Did we lose you? Oh, I'm sorry. You're on mute. Why does it
Here.
do that? Okay, I got you. I'm so sorry. The system does this new thing now to where it puts you on mute when we start a new show, and it never used to do that. That's very weird. So I'm gonna have to get used to that. But
Uh-huh.
great. I'm so happy that we're
That's
all
all
up and
right.
running today. So how's it been going for you, Beretta? What do we need to know this week? What are the energies like? It really seems like crack addict mode. Everything is moving forward really fast, and it's kind of hard to keep up with.
That would be a good analogy. Yeah, it feels to me like we're definitely sliding into more, and it could resemble the old, but it really has potential to become something very powerful if you morph it into what you want or what you need without taking the old steps or doing the old routine, breaking away from the old and letting yourself settle in for what's coming at you without expectation and also trying to be open to receive more at the same time.
So how do we do that?
So the basic rule of thumb would be to throw everything you know away. Just dump it. Everything that's coming at you may feel similar or may look familiar as to what you know, but the reality of it is it's not. It's going to bring you potential to absolutely succeed beyond your wildest dreams. The flip side to that is if you hang on to it being like, oh yeah, I can do this, no problem. I got it all handled. I've got it already figured out. I've been through this before. You're gonna crash and burn because this isn't like before. This is new potential that may be tapping old energy, but it's new potential being brought to you by different sources. And what it will bring is, like I said, great success of the wildest failures of your life. So when I say open your mind, I'm saying don't look at don't look at it or don't see it as something you know. Be able to see it for, if you're looking at something and you say, oh yeah, that's all green. No, it's not. It's blue. You just got to rearrange your thinking to see it as such. And once you're open to understand that you can handle this. So if it was an epic failure before, it doesn't necessarily have to end like that. And B, if you morph it and like ride this wave, so surfers would absolutely understand in the analogy of grab this wave and ride it for all you've got. Then that's what's going to bring you the success. That's what's going to bring you what you need. That
And
make sense?
that's really key, that we think that we deserve X, or that this is the one thing that we're fixated on. So all of our life actions are centered around this one outcome, right? And this is what we're thinking. And even astrology shows us this, that we expect one outcome, and then what we get is something absolutely different. And it's because number one, man makes plans and God laughs. Yes, that's true. But really kind of what's happening is I think we're being called not to be so tunnel vision on all of this other stuff, because when we fixate on one specific thing, then we ignore everything else around us. It's sort of like, you know, um, somebody didn't want to hire me for a job recently because I didn't want to do it the way that they did. I wanted to work together, and they just wanted to call all the shots. So guess what? I broke off and I decided to do my own thing because I live by the phrase, if you want something done right, do it yourself. And I've always been like this. So, like where I'm fixated on this possibility of a job and this other person doesn't want to work with me, as opposed to scratching my eyes out and hating my life and saying all these evil things like, why are you taking away the only thing that I love and care about? I decided to take matters into my own hands, the variables I can control, and decided to make my own version of it. So that's kind of how that works. So when it comes to, these things that we're expecting to happen in the future, let's just kind of take one day at a time in the moment, and remember that a lot of what comes to us, a lot of what we attract in the universe is really sort of dependent on where we are in the moment. Beretta, would you say that that's true, that we get different outcomes based on our own actions and where we are in our life journey?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Our thoughts, our feelings, our beliefs, that does absolutely dictate the outcome. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's really key that that we keep this in mind, because like I had an experience recently where it looked like I was going to be meeting like a relationship partner type thing. While I'm not ready for this at this point in my life, and my actions definitely don't suggest that I would be meeting somebody, I have a potential to make a friend here instead. So that energy morphs and shifts. So whereas it's going to be this really deep serious relationship, well, because I'm not in that mode in my life yet, then I would attract this really deep platonic type of love. Like being with a friend who gets you is just as powerful as being romantic with somebody. A lot of us don't like to
Right,
realize
right.
this.
And
Hmm.
yeah, and that may be what you need. That friend that gets you may be what you need in lieu of that love of your life, a soulmate, or whatever, your intimate partner. But and we talked about this before, I stated it. A friendship can be intimate. No, I'm not talking about sex, but they can bring all you need when it is the right friend.
Yes, that is absolutely true. I do want to let everybody know that we're going to be getting off to our phone lines here in just a moment to start taking some calls. If you would like to speak with us here and get your free live reading here on the air, please give us a call. And that number is going to be area code 319-527-6071. Again, that's 319-527-6071. We're scheduled until about 7 p.m. Arizona time, and we'll hopefully get through everybody tonight. So please stay tuned on the lines and we'll get to you. Remember, you can always go over to eastrologer.tv and watch our live stream. Uranian Astrology is so much better when you can see it. One of the truly amazing things about my work here in the show today is the fact that you can actually see the charts that I pull up. So it validates the reading that you get. So when Beretta's pulling messages from Spirit, here I am doing stuff in your chart, and then I can back that up. That's one of the unique aspects of our brand. So please go out there and catch that live stream. It really does make a difference. Beretta, is there anything else that we need to know for this week? I know we'll be back with you guys on Sunday morning for the next phase of things. But Beretta, is there anything else we need to know before we get off to our calls here?
No, I think let's get off to our calls, and whatever we need to know will come up.
Perfect. And it looks like we have some new callers with us tonight. So we do want to thank you guys for joining us. And we're going to start out with area code 54541. Hi, you're on the Uranus Happen Show. May I have your name and date of birth?
Well, hi, Ernesto and Loretta. This is Nancy, and I think
Nancy.
you have my
Yeah,
information.
you've called us before. I'm so sorry. And we changed it.
Oh,
I
yes.
misspoke. This is Celestial Intersections Radio. We're a new brand now. So, Nancy, I got you here. You were born
Oh.
on, let's see, that's August 2nd.
You got it, yes.
Perfect. I got it. And do you have a question for us today, Nancy, or would you like a general reading?
I think a general reading for the next 4 months. I do know that one of my highlights is I'm going to make a major move within that time.
Okay. All right. Veretta, what you got?
Okay, so as you said that, I echo in the words "you hope." Let me just capsule up 4 months and see what's going on. Okay, you do have a move to make. I do see new things to come. I do feel like it may be a little bit of a burden, or when it does come, it may have more weight to it than you would normally think or initially think. I feel like that will definitely reflect on your values or what you want. And I got to tell you, don't settle in regard to, now, if you were listening earlier, you heard us say be open-minded about what's to come, because if you are, it's going to be great. So I would say be open-minded, but don't sacrifice what you really need. Don't sacrifice what you have to have in order to get whatever this is. I feel like the location is going to be different. I feel like it'll be a whole net of new learning. And so outside of that 4 months, I feel like once you get past that initial time frame of acclimating and, getting used to what's different, it's going to be good. And I feel like it may be the start of the new life, or the start of something fantastic for you that's going to bring more so than what you thought. And that includes people. I want to say that includes people in your life, being brought to your life also. So I
Yeah.
think that you've got a lot of good things coming. I definitely feel new opportunity. I definitely feel the outcome will far exceed what it initially feels like or what initially it seems to have panned out. Um, but just right, hear me say, I feel a little dip in the energy. I feel a little dip in the psyche that might not feel like, you may begin to think that maybe wasn't the right answer. So just weather through it. I feel like, again, go into it open minded, look for the new opportunities, not the old rhetoric, and feel what do I want to say? Feel grateful, maybe grateful for what's to
Mm-hmm.
come. Even though you haven't had it, you don't have it in your hand yet. Feel grateful that what you are going to receive is most definitely more than what you had anticipated or thought. What do you get, Ernesto?
So, Nancy,
Oh,
my first
thank
question
you.
about the move is, are you thinking about moving out of state?
Yes.
Okay, because
Yeah,
that's immediately clear and obvious. In multiple places, actually ask
yeah.
separate questions of your chart about what is this year looking like for you ahead, and then moving comes up. That's one of the things. And then when I ask, okay, so what does moving look like? And the first thing that shows up to me is you're moving a long distance. Like this is going to be the long haul. This is going to be the good life. And I think we've even talked about this before in previous conversations here on the
We
show,
did.
and it's finally starting to look up. I think that timing is getting a lot closer. This is one of the differences in like the free reading that we do here on the show and then the personal consult that you can hire us for, is that we can take the time to break down the math, or at least me anyway, to give you more specificity as far as that move is concerned, so you can have like a
Okay.
timeline to work with, kind of thing. And I think what's happening for you here, Nancy, is that that timeline is really looking very tight, and it shouldn't be that much longer. Like you say, the next 4 months is a pretty strong here, and I think that where you're going to land is going to be someplace that's stable, and it's also going to give you the sense of belonging that you haven't really had in a long time. So I think that where you're heading, this new place, you should not be feeling very many, if any, red flags at all, because this all of this speaks so positively to you and where your life path and where you're going. So again, keep an open mind. Don't fixate on X outcome, because that's where we kind of get
Oh
tripped up
no, I'm not
on
fixated.
life things. Just allow things to come, and then
Mhm.
be open minded, and be willing to work with it. That's a really important rule about customer service, is that when the item that you want is sold out and I'm unable to replace it, you as the consumer, I'm going to try to please you by suggesting an alternative. Like, we can do this other thing. I know it's not what you want. It may not be the same color, but it's got all of the same great features. That kind of a mindset. That's really what I'm referring to here. So, as you're seeing these things or these ideas are being presented to you, don't just say, well, I don't want that because that's not what I want. It's work with people, because everybody's willing to compromise. And the magic to life is when we're willing to meet people halfway. And that's when all the good stuff happens.
Wow. Yeah, well, the whole thing was, I wanted to move closer to my daughter in Oklahoma, and she wasn't settled yet, but now she is. They bought a home, and she's moving into that new home in March. And so there's nothing stopping me except for I'm doing this move all by myself. So there's a lot of putting your ducks in a row, and that's the hard part, is just getting it all together from me moving myself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah, it
um,
can be.
are you ready at all for moving, like anywhere near close?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can do that. I was giving myself maybe a few more months. And I'm looking around, I'm looking for an apartment that I can move into over there. And everything that's listed, is only now. Now you have to move in. And so I'm just being put on the list. And she's going to help me, look around herself, and find a place, if I say, check that out. So
Sure.
I do have her help on the other side.
Okay, if we do that. All right, got it. Okay. Yeah, so your daughter is going to be your best ally in all of this. So that is absolutely true, and it's actually it's really funny. It's supported here in your chart. When we ask the question about your family, your daughter shows up. So like that's the thing that you're really going to want to rely on. She's going to be your wizard here in this whole process. She's going to be the one that's going to get you through. So whenever you're not sure what to do or if it's not really feeling right, reach out to her. She's going to be your guardian angel, and she's going to make it okay. Beretta, do you pick that up too?
Oh, yeah, she is.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And so that's it. Maybe because you're on that list, it'll take 4 months. But also, as you're saying, you're having to wait. Everything wants you to do it now. That's where the don't settle comes in. Don't think, oh my gosh, I'm at the end of that 4 months, or I've got 3 weeks left. I got to grab it now. No, wait for the 3 weeks. If you still have
Okay.
your app into other places, don't grab whatever comes in first.
I'm not going
Put it on
to.
hold if you
Yeah.
can. Yeah,
Mhm.
good.
Yeah, all good things are worth waiting
Yeah.
for. It seems like in this case, if you try to rush anything, it can backfire, and the way it'll backfire is through disappointment, and that's like one of the worst things that anybody can experience.
Yeah. You're so right. Yeah. It's just that
So
my apartment that I'm living in now is purging me out of here. It's flooded again. They keep
Oh,
turning off the water. I mean, it's giving me signs and signals like, goodbye, it's time to move.
yep, exactly right.
yeah, there's always something to be said for that. I'm really glad, Nancy, that you're paying attention to the signs, because when we ignore them, and spirit keeps throwing stuff at us, at a certain point, they eventually just throw up their hands and say, you know what, we've had it. Let's just call them back.
So, but anyway, I thank you so much. Yeah, it gives me, a lot of openness, because I will be open. I definitely don't want to be pressured. I want to find the right place and something that feels good. So,
Yeah,
well,
and
thank you.
if you're patient with it, you're gonna love it. So, just be. I really think that you're gonna be very pleased with the way that this new lifestyle is gonna be turning out for you. That it's gonna be the community and the family that you haven't had in a while, and it's gonna
True.
you're just gonna fit right in. You're gonna really love it.
Okay. Well, thank you. And like I said, welcome back. It was good to see you back.
Yeah, we're so glad that it means so much when our subscribers come back to us after a major change like this, Nancy. So we're really glad to have you here too. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share to our new brand, Celestial Intersections Radio, and we'll catch up with you next time. We'll be back here on Sunday morning,
Okay.
and we always appreciate any referrals to your family and friends.
Yeah. Oh, one quick thing.
Hmm.
I'm on the YouTube and I don't see my chart or
Oh, I
anything.
am
I just
so
see.
sorry. Yeah, there we go. I just now changed it over, so I keep forgetting about that. So you should see
I
that
wasn't
switch over
sure
in
what
just a
you were
moment. Yeah,
doing
I have a
because
controller that
I.
changes things, and I forget to press the
Mhm.
button. So I'm always
Oh, I
micromanaging all
see.
the stuff
Okay.
there.
Just
There
so
it
I
went.
can
Yeah.
see that because I can check it out what you're looking at because I have my own chart too.
Hmm.
So
Right.
I,
Yeah.
I
Good.
was just curious what you were focusing on.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you can see that all there, and then if you want to pick it up on a YouTube stream after the fact, then you can look it up in your chart.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Well,
thank you
thank you
so much,
again.
Nancy, for calling. We'll catch up with you real soon. Take care, and until next time.
Okay.
Good night.
Bye bye.
Blessings.
Okay, and we are going to get to our next caller here from area code 312. Hi, you're on the Uranus Happen Show. May I have your name and date of birth, please?
Hi, my name is Clara, and my date of birth is 3/10/1964, and it was 7:18 p.m.
Okay.
Chicago.
And where were you born, Clara?
Born in Chicago.
Got it.
Chicago.
And do you have a specific question about an issue, or would you like a general reading tonight?
Well, the issue would be about a relationship. I'm in a relationship, and it's kind of
Okay, that's all we
sticky.
need. Yeah, let's take a look at that one. Beretta, what you got for a relationship for Clara here?
Hello, Clara. How are you doing, darling?
Hola, chica bonita.
All right, let's see what we got. All right, so I'm feeling a little down. I feel the energy maybe has shifted or changed. I feel like there may be some misunderstanding or a difference of thought in the works right now. I gotta when I weigh this though to culpability to see really where the trouble lies, I'm not seeing it on your end as much. So I would want you to hear me say, do not feel like you did something wrong. Do not feel like it's all your fault. Do not take it personal that this individual is picking on you or trying to point you out to be the bad guy. That's not the case here. And they need to be open-minded enough to understand that just because they feel they are not getting what they need or something is happening that they don't like, that's not on you. This is not on you. This is something they need to process. They need to decide how alone they want to be versus not. And because the reality of it is your heart and your caring is wide open there. You've allowed yourself to be vulnerable. You're wearing your heart on your sleeve. Your face value. You're authentic, and so it feels to me like maybe they're not appreciating a whole lot of what you have to offer in lieu of what they will actually find. And I want to say to you again, I have to reiterate, don't feel down in your heart feeling like you messed this up, no matter what they say. I feel like they need to be a little bit more gracious and forgiving and understanding that you are not a tried and true in the wool individual with lots of relationships under your belt. And you're really trying to be as honest and apparent and transparent as possible. Does that sound right?
Yep.
All right, Ernesto, take it away.
Okay, so and you said, Clara, that you're in a relationship right now, right?
Correct.
And it's kind of rocky and you're not really sure where that's headed. So to kind of go on to what Beretta's saying, what I'm really feeling here in this sense, about like who I love in life right now, and that's sort of what we're looking at here, that since you feel the reservation or the hesitation, like I'm not really sure what's happening, we have this Mercury Mars here, and along with your Sun. So this is by directions. This is you in the present moment. As your age has or your soul has advanced with years on this planet. We can look at that second ring of information there. So those green squares I've added, that's going to be some communication that has to do with a man. That's going to be the major. I want to say that that's going to be something that you've worked on in the past, that this has been a past issue for you guys, like that communication and working that out, that was a thing for you. Would you say that that's true, that that's something that you've already been down that road before?
Yes.
Okay. And would you also say that when you had to go down that path, it caused a ton of depression on your end?
Yes.
And you're there again now, right?
Well, I'm heading that direction.
But you're not. So now you want to know, like, what the heck am I supposed to do? So the real thing here is that the biggest takeaway, if we're going to look at like your future and what's happening with that, this third chart out in the sky, this is going to be like Mars and Mito. So this is karma with a man. So this is, like you have some karmic issues that, you've got to sort out here that deal with communication. Really, I think kind of what's happening is it's kind of like you have this call to work on yourself and establish those boundaries because it's affecting your spiritual self. Like your spiritual self suffers because of this love relationship that's not doing what you want it to. It's not that fully nourishing effect that we really want as humans. So this is kind of like, I'm either going to have to take the trash out or I'm going to have to live with the emotional cancer that follows. Like these are the two options. And, I hate to be so bleak, but, that's really kind of where we're at right now. It's kind of like, I've had it. I don't really know if I want to do this again. But if I do, how are we going to make this different or better? you know what? I don't think you really can, because it's just going to be a rehash of all of the same stories you guys have gone through in the past. So, I mean, I think if anything, as an aside from what we're looking at here, that you to break up with this person would more than likely trigger a move on your end. I do think that you'll fare quite well. You'll actually probably really like the life that you'll create for yourself. It'll have a bit of an adjustment period, but I do think that it is you breaking up with this person would trigger a lot of changes, because you'll see yourself in a different way. And not only that, but more importantly, Clara, you're taking back your personal power. The variables that we can control in life, those are the things that we want to focus on. So as far as our happiness is concerned, so once you take that personal power back, then you'll start to see things in a new light, and then it's going to take you to probably, I want to say, a new location. This may be out of state. I want to say it is. It's going to be far further than what you've traveled in the past, but it's also, like our last caller, Nancy, it's also going to be about setting up a lot of the life that you need to go through right now, and getting the things that you want, as opposed to just being disappointed by all of these things that are what you think you want, but they just fall short. Is this making sense to you?
Yes, it is making sense.
Okay.
Now, can I ask a question?
Certainly. Go ahead.
Okay, so it sounds, like on point, and sometimes, we let the trash pile up for a while before you take it out. Is that going to be highly detrimental or medium detrimental?
Like if you were to just rip off the Band-Aid right now?
Yeah.
Beretta, what do you have? I'm inclined to, based on your chart from what I'm seeing right now, this looks more to me like that you're going to, if you did it right now, you would be okay. It would probably feel a little bit more confusing than anything else, because now you have the rug ripped out from underneath you and you don't know what just happened. And so that's going to be the readjustment that you're going to have to kind of look for. But other than that, no, it looks like that you would actually fare quite well to just make it go away and get back to your own life.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have to agree with that. I feel so. This is why I'm saying I agree with that. I feel like you've seen all the markers and indicators on why this really kind of isn't going to work. I feel like they aren't going to change right now, if ever. They may in the point in the future, where they understand that, well, maybe I was a little too hard on her and I didn't need to take it out on her what I was going through. And someone might tell them at some point, you don't need to do X, Y, Z, and that will be a big poster on the wall that shows her all the things she did to you. So I feel like if this is something that you're really starting to see is becoming more of a detriment, like it's hurting more than helping, it's hurting more than being happy, then the writing's on the wall. I would say I'm on Ernisso's page, yank the Band-Aid off and call it good. Yeah, you're going to hurt for a bit. You're going to be sad. You're going to wonder why. But all those things with help will go away, and you will find yourself with someone that is not going to be so harsh on you. And you'll also find yourself that will accept you for who you are in the manner that you present yourself, and not try to, this is what I get more than anything else. You're being molded in what they want you to be. That's not who you are, Clara. That's not who you are. So do you want to be molded, or do you need to just take the trash out and say, okay, I'm done smelling garbage because I really need some fresh air and I want to be happy in my life. Springtime's coming, a lot of potential, and you're not going to be alone. You're not going to be alone forever. But there are things coming at you that you need to be 100% present for, and this relationship may be detrimental to that. So from that perspective, I would say just let the writing keep showing up on the wall, and when you're ready to call it done, call it done. Otherwise, it'll be done anyway, and it won't be on your terms, and it still will be very hurtful. So save some pride and a whole lot of faith, and decide what you want to do for you, not because that's what they want you to be.
Okay.
And I just want to add this too.
All right, love.
Claire, you are not crazy. You may feel like that you are, and here's why. This is why I know this is because of, what's interesting is if you're watching our YouTube show right now, you'll see where that arrow is at 45 degrees and 52 minutes. That shows up on those green boxes that are right there in that second chart of yours. So, but more importantly, if we look over to the right hand side of that arrow, what happens is you have another arrow that's within or another green dot that's within a degree of that little arrow there. So that means that both of those questions are really the same. So the question about who I love, Moon Venus, and also my relationship Sun Moon, those are both the same axis point in your chart right now. So when this meridian by transit, this black square that I'll be adding to the third chart there, when that black meridian zips around your chart, it's going to make at least 4 contact points a day right here at this point in your chart, which concerns your relationships. And it will make another 4 contact points with the other point that's 22.5 degrees away. So to summarize all of that, 8 times a day, you will have fleeting thoughts of depression about this relationship. So, and that is not you being crazy. That's your chart trying to figure out and process, all of this really kind of grief that you're going through right now. So, I just, so when you feel like that, I don't know how to handle this, it actually is supported in your chart that you're not crazy, Clara, because are 8 times a day when you're going to have those unwanted, depressing thoughts about a love relationship. So I just want you to be made aware of that too, that if you start to fall into those unwanted thought patterns, this too shall pass. That will take maybe about all but like 12 minutes to fully release its effect from you. So distract yourself with something in that meantime, but it will go away.
All right. I appreciate. Yeah, and I see the chart now. So you got the green boxes and the arrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the what's the arrow mean?
Oh, the arrow is just to so the green arrow is to just show you that those 2 green dots mean the same thing, but so there's a big red arrow, that's our question that we're asking, and then these smaller arrows have different meanings, but because they're all 22.5 degrees away from each other, they mean the same thing. So whatever falls on these arrows, like you have this meridian by direction that shows up there for you, that's going to be like these planets are contacting this question. So this can be read on this axis point.
Okay.
So I'm working on a whole
Wow.
methods textbook to break that down and explain it. So, I'll save all of that for a future date. But, Claire, I do wish you the very best of luck in this whole process, and it will get better. So if you just want to go ahead and reclaim your personal power, I wish you all the luck in the universe, and it does get better.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
For sure.
Bye-bye.
Be sure to subscribe, like, and share, and we'll catch up with you real soon. Until next time.
All right.
Take care and good night. Okay, and we are going to get to our next caller here. It's a new caller from area code 480 here from my stomping grounds here in the Phoenix area. Hi, you're on the Uranus Happen Show, or excuse me, the Celestial Intersections radio show. May I have your name and date of birth, please?
It's Carmen, and it's 9/24 of 78.
9/24 of 78, got it. And at what time were you born?
Approximately 4:30 in the morning.
Okay, and where were you born?
I was born in Renton, Washington.
Renton, Washington. All right. And Carmen, do you have a question for us, or would you just like a general today?
I think just like a general.
Okay, all right, Veretta, what you got for Carmen here?
Okay, Carmen. Let's see what you got on. All right. I feel like happy days. Happy days. So why and the basis of that would be the new things that will come to you with your either new position, new station in life, new way of thinking. They're going to bring oh my gosh, the value. But it's not all grins and giggles. There's going to be a little bit of down days. It may be learning something new. It may be learning a process, learning routine, whatever, adjusting to new routine. And I feel like in a way that does not come from what is new. It comes from people around you, kids, husband, that kind of maybe take advantage of what is new to you. Like say you've got a new routine, you're getting up a little earlier, you're not home like you used to, or you're not home as often, and the kids and the man are going to play. Bad? No. It just means you're going to have to be on your game when you are in their company. And when you come home, when you feel like something's off, don't overlook it. Don't be so tired that you think, no, I can't deal with this today. Yes, do deal with it today. I feel like the new routine, the new opportunity, like I said, is not necessarily going to be a problem, but it's going to challenge what you know. It's going to challenge how you do what you do. So maybe that was, you had a specific thing that you did with people at your old job or your old place of living or your old whatever. And that what's going to happen is that's not applicable to you now. That what you know how to deal with folks or how you dealt with folks before is not going to match with what you're being faced with now. So throw everything you knew out the window. Be as genuine, be capable, be confident, be able to do what you're hired to do or able to do what you're asked to do, but don't apply the old way and old techniques because that's what's going to get you in trouble. So just kind of take your cue from the people around you. No, don't do what they do. Learn from what they do and don't do that. So it also feels to me like you're going to be tested. That, you know, how do I want to put that? I guess maybe this is what you can achieve. You're going to be tested in what you can do, how far you will go, what you'll put up with. Just walk in there with an open mind and a smile on your face and firm set boundaries, and you'll be fine. I don't get that anything that's going to come at you is anything you can't do. I don't get that it's above your head or, you know, something that you won't want to handle or put up with, as long as you keep your boundaries firm and let people know, no, don't treat me like that. That's not going to work for me. I'm here to do this or I'm going to do that, and this is how I need you to get along with me. So it's a good thing. I just feel like there will be things that others may try to take advantage of, and that's what you need to watch for. And this probably, I'm wanting to say, I'm putting a time frame on it for whatever reason. I want to say 6 to 8 weeks, and everything smooths out. Everything is easier, copacetic, more understanding is taking place, and everybody will know what they're doing. So, and energy, the work environment or the energy will pick up substantially. Busy, busy, busy. Like every day, busy, busy, busy. So, Ernesto, what are you getting?
Yeah, Carmen, are you looking at starting a new job here?
I am, yes.
Do you work in medicine right now?
I do not.
Have you ever worked in medicine?
I have in all realms of medicine, from natural to general to homeopathic to even as specific as massage therapy and doing reflexology. All of it.
What type of work are you looking at entering? Is this also within the medical field?
It is not. I was working in the restaurant business.
Okay.
And I just basically my time there is basically done with this week. And next week I start my new position. Both positions are of managerial type position. I will be the head of where I'm going to, so the place that I will eventually have, I will be the head of that location, but it's nothing to do with restaurant or medical or education or anything that I've ever done before. It is in the car wash business, actually. So it's something that I've completely never, ever done before.
See, because when I ask your chart questions about like work and what that's looking like for you, what ends up happening is that I keep seeing all of this stuff like, either you're going to burn up from the inside because like this job is just so not what you thought it was, or the onboard process is such a mess that you can't really do the job afterwards, and then you just realize, you know what, this really sucks. Because Carmen, I don't know if you ever actually knew this about yourself, but most of your jobs, the jobs that you really like and the jobs that you tend to work the hardest and the longest, either deal with medicine or they deal with service work. And the reason I know that is it's immediately clear and obvious to me by your natal chart. When we look at this, you've got this Hades over here on this 67.5 degree arrow. And that's going to be, well, that's going to be generational for everybody who was born on this day and time. What makes it so interesting to me is the fact that, number one, that's a planet that rules what I do with Uranian astrology. So I always look at it. And in your case, what ends up happening is it makes this contact to these other points in your chart. You've got like this sun node to the Aries point, and that's all there with this Cupido. And again, that Cupido Hades will be generational for that karmic group or for that soul family. But on a basic level, what this says about your job is the fact that you tend to take jobs that are either in medicine, which is the positive end of the Hades planet, or in service work, which is a different pole or a different expression of the same energy. So what that's going to mean as far as a manifestation is that your work is defined by dealing with unpleasantness, processing complaints, dealing with dirt, the things that people don't want that are broken. Like that's the kind of stuff. If you ever worked in retail, if you ever worked in that space, you'd probably do pretty well over there too, because that's another type of service work. So I feel like that this job in the car industry, because of what's happening and at that axis point at that 8538, and it shows up again about what this year is about. You've got so much about Neptune that shows up. So there's a lot of confusion in this whole process. And that's just kind of why I'm like, is she going to stick with this? I think that the job itself will be okay enough, but you're eventually just going to realize, nope, this isn't for me. I need to go back to what I was doing. Like that massage thing that I tried. Yeah, that was really my gig. That really spoke to my soul. Or, something else that you would actually be good at is to be like a naturopathic doctor, like to be a physician. If you've ever thought about something like that before, to do like the natural route as opposed to the allopathic program, you would again have really successful luck with that, because you are a healer. You have really powerful healing abilities with this chart. So I would love to see you doing something like that. And I think that this job that you're going into, that this is going to give you the sense of clarity of the direction that you're going into next. So the next leg of the story, that's going to be all revealed to you. And just to give you a little bit of a heads up and a preview of where you're going with all of that, that's going to have to do with your spirituality. That's really going to be on the front burner that you really won't be able to look away from. So get ready to do a lot of talking with spirit. That would be my advice in this. And I think that spirit's also going to be a very good ally and friend of yours in this whole job process, because for some reason, something about that job just looks so weird. And I don't know what it is exactly, but something is off and it's not really clear, and nobody will really see it until it goes down. So I just want you to be prepared for any potential upsets and heartbreak over the whole issue, because that's going to be expected on this end from what your chart's telling me here. But either way, you're going to be just fine, because it's going to put you into that next phase of life that you were looking for anyway, because that's where you're at right now, because you're just in a transitional phase, not really too sure what you wanted, where the next foot is going to drop, and that's going to all become clear to you.
So do you see like a specific time frame at all of I know you said that obviously this is where I'm going to be at, and it's just like temporary is kind of what I'm understanding from what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
But is there like a time frame that you see me being at this place? I mean, because I do feel that this is not where I'm supposed to be like long term,
Mm-hmm.
and I have always wanted to actually be like my future like long-term goal is to become actually a naturopathic doctor. I've always wanted to be that. I've just kind of held off of it because I have children. So right now doing something like that, like going back to school and stuff like that where my kids are at, is kind of not feasible. So obviously I have to work so that I can pay things that they need right now, so that at that point when they don't need that much and I can do them for me, that's kind of where I then want to be later on in life to do something for me, which would be becoming a naturopathic doctor.
Yeah, and you would be very good at that, and you're here in town. I go to Sonoran University. It's in Tempe. They're a naturopathic clinic.
Hmm.
I get acupuncture there.
I go there all the time.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and
I go there all the time. That's
they
where
are
I get my
amazing
natural
people.
medicine from.
Yeah.
They are so awesome. Yes, they are.
Yeah, see, so we're already on the same page. This is great. So like, I don't even have to
Hmm.
make a case for it. You already know what I'm talking about. See, this is what's unique about what we do here is that not everybody calls me a Uranian Astrology for life advice. You and I probably have a contract in some way. We've had some kind of contact in past lives, and that's why you're coming to me now because if you're dealing with Uranian astrology, you have karma with this work. I don't know how, but everybody does because we're ruled by the planet Hades. So that's kind of one of the nice
Mm.
things is that I always have that unconscious connection with people here. So when I look at something like this, where is one? Yeah. I'm taking a look to see when something like you would be a student. That would be. I think that would be of
Hmm.
interest to know that. So let's look. Here we go. Okay, so where is that first one? Yeah, it's gonna. This could actually be like a really great time. Like if I feel like the job itself is probably you're probably going to last in that between 3 and 6 months. That's going to be relatively short lived, and I think it's going to be
Mm.
more for the sake that you can put on paper managerial experience. It may not have been a great experience, but at least you can say on paper, this is what I was on payroll, so I can say I can apply for
Hmm.
these other types of jobs. That's kind of what that's all about. And then I think the schooling, you're probably going to want to, if you're really serious, I don't know if you've given any thought to this. Like this, the fall semester would be very good for you. That's like beautiful timing in your chart. If you've thought about that at all, to make that process happen, I feel like that if you could do that, like the fall would be really great for you to get all of that started. And that's going to be, I think, the next step that you're looking for is you'll eventually realize, you know what, I'm sick of working for these stupid people and these crappy jobs and, like just dealing with people's crap all day. Like I'm ready to be my own boss and to take life into my own hands, right? So I think that that's where you're going to be headed, and that will be revealed to you after this job is over. So I would absolutely start getting ready for a fall semester. Like that's definitely something that's supported here in your chart if you wanted to make that happen. And I think what you'll find is like if you just start poking in that direction, you'll notice how everything sort of clicks into place and feels really nice. And Veretta, that's always a sign that we're on the right path is when everything clicks into place and is super easy and non-resistant like that. So Carmen, you'll start to notice a lot of that, and that's how you'll know that this is where I'm supposed to be.
Mm. Okay.
Veretta, is there anything else that you have? Do you pick up on the schooling piece here?
I would say, yeah, I would say two things. I'm still fixated. I couldn't let go of the thing that you said about this looking weird and you just didn't know why. So I want to go to that, but I also want to ask, how old is the youngest child, Carmen?
The youngest child, he is 12.
13, 14, 15. Vanessa, could it be that it would be more 3 to 6 years before she starts that?
3 to 6 years. Let me advance the chart and let's take a look. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll advance this for 5 years, and let's see what happens then. So. Okay, so then at that point, yes, I do. Yeah, that would take a lot of time to break down the math, but 3 to 6 years, that time frame, there are many opportunities that are quite ripe for the picking, just based off of this. For
Okay.
looking at something like that too, I
Okay.
feel like that the window of opportunity where your mind will be more receptive to the concept of going to professional school, that's going to be opening up for you in the fall. So if you started to take strides in that direction, you would be successful. But like Veretta's saying, the action actual event is probably somewhere further down the turnpike in a few more years.
Okay.
And would the weirdness about what this opportunity bringing could be, could that have anything to do with legalities of what they do behind the scenes that she might not like?
So about the job, right? Like if they're, I don't know, like remember that other car wash operation here in town that had immigration issues a few years ago, like that kind of thing.
I don't know, but I'm feeling like it has legalities tied to it. And she may spot that pretty quick and be.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
Okay.
That is an astute observation that there's some weirdness with the law that's going on here. Like that
Okay.
there's so if you may want to blow the whistle and just kind of be like, to do the right thing, but don't, keep your mouth shut. They already know what they're doing and it's not great. But I think
Yeah.
eventually what's going to happen is because I have to make a paycheck, I'm not going to give myself emotional cancer over these people. So I'm just going to walk
Right.
away. I think that's eventually what's going to happen is you'll
That's
just
how.
wake up to
Yep.
the fact that it's wrong.
Yep.
Mhm.
So I think that's what you'll
Okay.
know within the 6 to 8 weeks. You'll know what's going on behind the scenes that you may not be so keen on.
Okay. Because I believe 6 to 8 weeks that you're saying is actually the time frame that I'll be in training, per se. That's the time frame
Okay.
that I will be in training is like 6 to 8 weeks, basically.
Okay. Yeah, you'll be approached by someone that will feel you up to see if you're amenable to doing whatever they need to have happen. So just keep your eyes out for that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
All right.
for sure. Well,
You're welcome.
Carmen, it was great to have you on the show with us tonight. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share, and we'll catch up with you real soon.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. We'll catch up with you soon. Until next time, take care and good night.
Listening.
Okay, and we are going to get to our next caller here from area code 602. Hi, you're on you're on Celestial Intersections Radio. May I have your name and date of birth, please? Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Yeah, may I have your name and date of birth, please?
Oh, yeah. Hi there. This is Adam. My date of birth is June 3rd, 1988.
June 3rd, 1988. Okay, and at what time were you born, Adam?
Good question. Let me, actually, I did have that written down here. Give me 2 seconds here. It is, shoot, not that one. Sorry about that, folks. All right, here we go. So you know what? I don't have that, but I'm gonna say maybe I don't know, maybe midnight. I can't remember. I have my chart at home, but I was invited to call in, so I didn't have 100% of that information at the ready.
Sure, no worries. That'll kind of limit what I can answer here, but you'll have to give us a call back when you have that. So, where were you born in the meantime?
I was in Erlanger, Kentucky.
Okay, and how do you spell the city name again?
Erlanger, I think it's like E-N-R Langer. Shoot, I can't remember. I think that, yeah.
Okay, there we got it.
E-R-L-A-N-G-R or E-R.
G-E-R, just like it sounds. Yep, I got it. Now, Adam, would you like a general reading today, or do you have a question about an issue?
I mean, there's been a lot of things on my mind while I'm trying to take care of the necessities of life. Yeah, I would like to just a general reading, just over like this month, and then if anything else is coming up in March. So.
All right, sure. All right, Verda, what you got?
All right, this one. Okay, something's going to get called due. I'm not quite sure what I'm seeing. I'm not necessarily going to think it's a big ticket item, but it may be a big ticket item to you. So if you have anything outstanding and it didn't seem like they were going to want you to pay it back, or there was no mention of it being paid back anytime soon, you may want to just kind of be ready for that brace of impact. I feel like it's a little bit unrealistic that they want you that they want you to be ready to do that right now. Um, so negotiate. This is one of those things where it will impact you if you try to ignore it. It will impact you because it's not going to go away. And if you at least look like you're willing to try to, work with them or tolerate or whatever, it speak volumes. It'll speak volumes. It'll go a long way. I feel like it could be something that could throw you into a tailspin, but it shouldn't. So don't let it be like the biggest catastrophe of the month. It does not have to be like that. It's basically, I kind of think I want to say it's a test of willpower. And I don't know why I want to state it like that, but it feels to me like it's kind of like just Spirit's way of saying, are you ready for the big time? If you get challenges that come up and you're not liking what they say, or you're not, jiving on the same page, are you ready for those types of situations? So just be willing to negotiate. I feel like by the end of next month, things are so much better. Better pay, better negotiation power, just better all the way around. So just kind of be wary of whatever this is that may be outstanding. Just kind of don't bring it up. Don't go to them saying, hey, you're not going to call this due, are you? But just be willing and ready to talk about it, to try to negotiate, make out a plan or some way to satisfy them that you're not just going to go away and try to hope that they never come around and ask for it, or you're pretending like it never happened. I feel like it definitely is a test of integrity, and it will give you the opportunity to be able to say, hey, yeah, I did that. And, after the fact, when you look back and say, that could have been a challenge, because in days of old, I might have melted down all over the place, but I didn't. I stood my ground. I was able to say, hey, that's not really realistic right now for me, and nothing was ever made or mentioned of it was going to be called due immediately or all at once. So can we talk about that? And I feel like the end result then will pave the way for a lot more abundance, prosperity, all kinds of things to come to you.
Right.
So can you pick anything like that up?
Okay, so it's really hard for me to, sort of look at this when I don't have an accurate birth time, or excuse me, I don't have a birth time. That's kind of like driving a car without a key, right? And there's no specific question in mind. So, Adam, could you give me some focus or direction so I can kind of look at something more specifically for you?
Sure. Okay. How about my current creative pursuits?
Okay, so
that I'm
like
doing
creative
in regards
endeavors?
to yeah, creative endeavors, careers. Them building and so forth.
Okay, all right. And are you an artist?
Yes, I am a voice actor for animation commercial, building that career at the moment. It's not something that happens instantly, but I have some things coming down the line. But yeah, it just takes time. But yeah, that's my current pursuit while I'm also working regular little jobs.
Okay, so your main thing, that you really want to know about is, like, so we can talk about or work and that sort of thing, but would you say it's a fair statement that you want to know about the voice acting, how that's going to go for you?
I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, I've already gotten signs from different other little sources of how it's going to go. I know certain things that take longer to develop than others in regards to projects and different things. But yeah, I mean, yeah, if you want to go that direction, yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, all right. Because, the first thing that I pick up is I was looking at this in your chart and I sort of wondered if you were an actor. But, when you say voice acting, then that makes more sense to me. Because, like I couldn't see you as like a motion picture, like, the type of actor that we would normally expect, like a Brad Pitt type. But, to be the Brad Pitt of the voice acting world, yeah, that sounds a lot
Yeah.
better. If you really wanted to, get in, then you do like some PA jobs. But unfortunately, that's, like the emotional cancer of the industry that nobody really wants, where you just kind of get dumped on for the sake of,
Right.
all of that. But so when I'm looking at this, your chart, with that Sun Mars, because what we want to do is Sun Mars equals Jupiter in our language in Uranian astrology. That's how we would ask the question about a successful actor. So that's sort of what we're looking for here to see how that lines up with you. Now, when we add that between your two different charts, There we go. Let's do it like there. There. Okay, so you have the Sun, Mars, Mercury. You've got Neptune. So Mercury, Neptune, those are both some positive planets that speak to acting. So you've got all of the pieces or the building blocks that we would require for that type of an inquiry. I think that you're going to get some offers and you're really going to like them. Again, just sort of like what we were talking though about the beginning of the show. Don't fixate on X. Like if you say I only want to work in like kids project, kids animation movies, or like in action movies or whatever it's going to be, like that, you're probably going to get offers that are above and beyond what you were looking for. And those are going to be the ones that are going to take you places. I really see this, that, your creative work that has like some really nice spark and potential to really take off for you. And this is going to be a big year for you to really get out there. So, have you looked at all at doing like speaking voice classes, Toastmasters, anything to improve your communicative abilities?
Oh yeah. No, I'm constantly doing that. I just actually took a workshop with one of my other coaches I've coached with before the other day with a bunch of other voice actors. Yeah, no, I already got plans on taking more workshops and more coaching and reinvigorating, because I went through a little bit of a spell last year of ups and downs and had to rebuild a lot of myself. So yeah, this year is like definitely getting back on the horse and just really refreshing and re-strengthening my voice acting brain and just overall process. So.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, because when the work does start coming in, it's going to be very hard to keep up with. You're probably going to have to start saying no to new things, and that's
Right.
always a really nice thing when we reach that point in life that we can say no because we don't have time. But that's going to be coming up for you, and this is the year where all of that hard work and attention that you've put into that facet of your life, it's going to start paying off. And I just want you to be prepared for the colossal work that is associated with it, because you're going to find that a lot of your own
Right.
personal activities in life that are just going to fall by the wayside. I know, like one time a few years ago, I was very busy at the holiday season in the call center, and I couldn't keep up on my cell phone game that I've played for 9 years, and it was really upsetting, like that I couldn't take this time out for myself to just do this. But I was too sick and tired of being sick and tired, so it just kind of had to slide by the wayside. It didn't make me feel great about myself, because that's something I truly enjoy. But this is sort of an example for you where you may find that those things that you really like, that you just can't keep up with them. So be prepared for like some of the really old structure that you've held on to for so long, that a lot of that may be dropping off, and you're replacing it with newer and better things. So just be advised that whatever's coming down the future, whatever changes are kind of presenting themselves to you, it may cause some upheaval in the process, but the end result is definitely what you wanted, because it's gets a lot more in alignment with what you want, as opposed to that disappointment stuff.
Oh no, and I think I'll also think too. And I've talked about this with others that like I've gone through like a lot, like, ever since like 16. I've gone through all periods where I've been alone by myself. Even the last 3 years, like we have all be by ourselves. So like I've kind of like realized up to now, like even now, like I don't have like an extremely a lot of time for big social stuff, even just with friends or major networking, that kind of thing. I'm busy lately, but it all serves a purpose, because most people probably wouldn't be able to handle the type of alone time, or just not being around a lot of people, or just working, and they would just crumble. But through everything I've been through this loneliness process, or just being by myself more often, when all this upset happens, like you said, it won't affect me as hard. That's why I try to view it like that, and not let my emotional side get the best of me.
Hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, Adam, you've got so much that's happening in your life this year that you don't really have time to distract yourself with love relationships. Like you're barely lucky to go out to coffee with your friends as
Right.
it is.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, the great news is that if that's something that
Can
you've,
you,
thought about in the past of, like settling down or meeting somebody, whatever, that's not there at the moment. But when it's ready for you, look at the beautiful life that you've created for yourself and what you can say, like, look, hey, here, join me in what I've done for our lives together. So that's coming and that's exciting. That's distant future kind of stuff. And speaking as somebody who has, never really been in love before and waiting for that one major relationship that happens a little bit later on in life, it really is a much better feeling to me when I think to myself about the empire that I'll create, as opposed to, Ratchet Nation in my 20s, where you didn't really know what the heck was going to happen, right? That doesn't help anybody. So I think that, like for you, maintaining your friendships, maintaining like just contact with people is going to be hard enough as it is. And that's going to be like, I think, that's going to be a big challenge for you in the future, is trying to, balance all of that. And if you can figure out some way to tie that into your work to where, like your friends become people that you work with, as opposed to people that you spend time with offline, then that's going to be a way to marry the two. Just because I feel like that time is going to become more and more of a problem as you get older and expand your career. So just be aware of that. But there are really great things coming down the turnpike. I think that this year is also going to be setting up a lot of that. Those great changes. You may not manifest or see the actual change until a little bit down the future, like another 2 or 3 years. But next year, you're actually going to start to, pave the way and see, and you'll actually recognize like, oh, so that's how that's going to work in the future. I get that now. Those things will become more clear to you. And again, like we were saying at the beginning of the show, don't fixate on X, because if you can figure out how to meet people in the middle with what you're able to give and what's right for your own needs and wants, then you'll be really blown away by what you manifest.
Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate the messages, guys.
Yeah, for sure. Fred, is there anything else that you'd like to add at this time?
Nope, that sounds good to me.
Okay. All right. Well, Adam, we really appreciate having you on the show tonight. We do want to thank you for calling in, and be sure to subscribe, like, and share, and we'll catch up with you next time.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Thanks a lot
Bye-bye.
for calling us. Be sure to let us know how it turns out. Take care and good night. Blessings. Okay. And we are going to get to our next caller here from, let's see, this is going to be Donna. Hi, Donna. You're from area code 805. We haven't spoken to you in a while. How have you been? Can you hear us?
No, I'm fine, Ernesto. How have you been?
We've been great. So just taking a break and glad to be back. So, Donna, do you have a question tonight for us, or would you like a general reading?
I think in general, see what you're coming up with for me, please.
Okay, sure. All right, Greta, what you got for Donna?
Ready.
Hi, Greta.
Hi. Okay, so it feels to me like things are wrapping up, like projects outstanding, not necessarily outstanding, but things that are in process. I don't want to say outstanding. You remove that. Don't hear me say that. I want to say things that have been in process, things that have been, a steady working on kind of thing. And those things are wrapping up to the degree that they'll be over. Why they'll be over is to bring more in, and they'll be over just in the nick of time. I feel like you have awesome opportunities just right around the corner. You're not even looking for them because, like Ernesto was just saying with the last individual, you don't have time. But the reality of it is these are things that you'd be looking forward to if you did know that they are in your future. And it's like glorious things that you wouldn't even consider an option right now. So I feel like lots of good things are in store. You have opportunities that you absolutely can get excited about. Some of these would even be opportunities that even if you did know that they were there, you wouldn't think that you'd qualify, or you wouldn't think you'd be able, or you wouldn't think you'd have access to them. You will. I'm telling you right now, you will. And like I said, it's giddy. I'm kind of giddy in what I want to feel in regard to this. And so you have so much love to offer, and you'll get that in return. However this is coming at you, whatever's going to be manifested, you're going to be adored. You're going to be idolized. You're going to be, given affirmation constantly that you're wanted, that you're loved, that you're needed. And I feel like even if you're not sure what direction this is coming, don't look for it. You don't have to look for it. But even if you're not sure what direction this is coming from, you'll know very shortly, or you'll know soon enough that it's going to happen. So don't put yourself in an anxiety mode of, oh my gosh, I wonder if I'll get it. Oh my gosh, I wonder if I'll have access to it. Oh my gosh, don't do that. Just say, okay, I hope and I pray and I'm willing to listen to spirit so they'll guide me to receive this, and you absolutely will, whatever this is. I feel like the things that may wrap themselves up may bring a little bit of an old lang syne, like, oh, does that have to end? Does it have to end so soon? I didn't even think it was ever going to be over. Don't worry about it. Like I said, whatever's going to replace it, it's more than making up for what you're finishing. And I feel like some of the things you're finishing are going to be good for you too. And you'll be thinking, oh, I'm so happy it's over. What am I going to do with all this extra time? Don't get your calendar out quite yet and start planning all these details. Because like I said, you'll be having things come to you naturally that you didn't, you had nothing in mind that this could take place. I feel like it will also incorporate or involve people that are close to you. They may not be around, but they may, like, by heart be close to you, or they should be anyhow. And even if it is in your case that these people don't feel the same way about you that you feel about them, that's going to change. That is absolutely going to change. So they'll soften over time. Whatever's taking place is going to really put different perspective in their point of view and give them the opportunity to be inclined to say, okay, let's include this person. Let's include Donna, or let's include Mom, or whatever. I feel like also something's coming to light. And whatever's coming to light is going to shed explanation to things, not just to you, but to others about you. And that's going to soften part of what aggravations or anxieties have happened over time. So you're going to have an understanding about something that's part of your history that you didn't have all the pieces to, or you didn't have an explanation for, and that's going to help you see things differently in regard to things that may have hurt in your history. So this feels like it's going to be an action-packed year, and closer to July is when all the good stuff is going to start to happen, but I think you'll know of it way before that. So Ernesto, can you add anything to this?
Yes.
Wow,
So
that was
Donna, you moved last year to your daughter's house, I want to say, or daughter-in-law, something like that.
I don't have any kids, but no, I'm still living in the same apartment. I've been here for 17 years.
Okay, all right. So I'm thinking of somebody totally different. Okay, so then let me see. So you're in the same place, and you're like a caregiver, care nurse kind of thing, right? That's your occupation, or was?
And yeah, he passed. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So but you don't have anybody right now, though, do you?
No.
Veretta, do you pick
Well,
up somebody new coming into to Donna's life and for like caregiving kind of thing?
huh? What?
Not necessarily, but yeah, that could be an option in regard to the good things that are coming that she wouldn't be expecting anytime soon.
Yeah, because I really get the sense, Donna, that like, I don't want to use the word like convalescent home. That's not where I'm going with this, but there is some type of like group or community or family that you're going to be coming into contact with here pretty soon, and that's going to be, I think, the good stuff that Veretta's alluding to. Like that's showing up in a few places in your chart right now, and I think that that's really going to be the thing that you're looking for the most. Is kind of like, what is the meaning of all of this? And it's going to be some good stuff. There's probably going to be some expense associated with it. By expense, I mean monetary, financial expense. But the drain that it would cause is worth it. Like that. This is something that's going to give you really what you want. I really feel like that you're going to have to pay something. There's some money involved in your life that this is going to be a major issue over the next year or so. Is that money with related to like either housing or living situation type of thing. And I want to say that you're going to start to pay a premium for that living, but it'll be okay. It's like we have communities that are all inclusive that charge an arm and a leg, but you get 3 professionally cooked meals a day by a chef, and they have shuffleboard and horseback riding and gardening and like jazzercise and all of that fancy stuff all in one place, and you pay $3,000 a month. Like it's all inclusive. So that may seem insane, but I could see you getting into something like that, and it's gonna give you like, wow, I don't know what this is, but you go from like this really quiet, boring lifestyle to suddenly done as a sweetheart that everybody wants.
Wow. That's like assisted living, right?
No, we have in Arizona. We have independent living facilities that do it like that, where you get your own apartment and your utilities are paid for and all of that, and you can have like a pet and a car and all of that stuff, and they include transportation to medical appointments if you need that. But not like so assisted living, but more along the lines of independent living, where it's just a whole bunch of people living together who are in the same age category. But like you're living in basically a resort, and all of your needs are taken care of.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, out here it runs a lot. It's about 10,000 a month or something like that.
Yeah, like if you,
Yeah.
I can tell you that like Verena living in Gilbert, I get these ads every single day that they try. I think their rate is like $28.95 or something, and it's fully all inclusive, all utilities, all meals, and it's and when you tell me it's 10,000 out there where you're at, it's kind of like, wow, that's quite a difference.
Yeah, it's expensive here. I mean, apartments go for 2,200 for a one bedroom.
Wow, unbelievable. I don't know how you guys do it out there.
It's expensive. Yeah, I
Yeah,
have a sister that helps me. Yeah.
but I feel like that you're gonna be entering into some type of living arrangement that's gonna involve other people or groups of people, like, and but I don't think it's gonna be something that's gonna like rob you of independence kind of thing, like assisted living, because a lot of that's really debilitating and awful. I feel like that this is gonna be something where it's just where you can live, but you're gonna be around people to give you the interaction that you haven't had in so long.
My sister wants me. She has a ranch with her husband, and they keep bugging me to go up there and live with them. And then my other sister, we're trying to win a house. So if we win the house, it'll be like 9,000 square foot. So just yeah.
And
do that.
one thing I will say is whatever the change is going to be, it's going to happen fast. And I just want you to be ready for it. So, like when they say, Donna, we're ready, like you need to be ready to move within 30 days.
Oh my gosh.
Like
She'll want to. I'm really feeling like it'll be something she'll want to do.
yeah, it'll be
At that
something.
moment, you know.
It'll be something that you do want. So, I mean, it's not going to be like it's going to be impossible to make that happen, but it is going to be a bit of a shock when you find out that you don't have near the time that what you thought you did. And for a lot of us, like moving, at least in this household where I'm at, there's writing on the walls that this year may be a year of moving. So we need to be ready for that when it happens. And just to let everybody know, this is a collective thing. Like you notice this a lot on the shows that I give readings to people to, is that I often talk a lot about moving, or like around this time of the year or the end of last year. Well, that's just because we had some generational stuff that's affecting every person on the planet. So Donna happens to be a part of the group of people who are being affected by the second group of planets. So this is why we're having this conversation now, and I'm also part of that second group as well. So when I get the idea, like we need to move and be ready for that. Like you want to be ready, because if you're not, then that's kind of when so many problems could be avoided. And that's really what we specialize here in the show, is risk management, is giving you guys a timeline so you know what to expect and what to prepare for. That's one of the selling points of Uranian astrology, is that we can do some damage control in way in advance.
You know when it might be that I might move from here?
Veretta?
That's where I'm thinking July comes in. But I think you'll know ahead of time. So, yeah.
It'll be this year.
I know.
It'll be this year. I do agree that the summer is going to be a hot time when you should get ready.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's a positive move, right?
Yes,
Yes.
there's not a whole lot negative about this. The only negative is going to be the resistance in your own mind, where you say, "I don't want to, I'm not ready for this because it's tiring, and I don't have time for to, to get this all ready." Well, you do, and we're telling you now, so it'll be easy when it happens.
Oh, I got to start decluttering and get rid of stuff now. Then,
Yep, start purging.
yeah, purging.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, that's exciting. Yeah, I could go for something different. I think living with people will be nice, whether it be my sister, my other sister, and her family, and yeah.
What I will say definitively, though, is that regardless of where you move, you will have new friends in your environment. So that like that, it's going to be more than just having acquaintances and people, and like saying hi to. It's like people that you can go out to and talk to, and pal around and do things with. So regardless of where you go, you will at least have that human contact and friendship and bond with others.
Yeah, because I don't have that right now. Yeah. All my friends moved away because it was so expensive here. And, I talked to them on the telephone, but that's different. My friend in Florida and Texas and Hawaii. And, I talk to them daily, but it's not the same as going out with somebody.
Right. Yeah. So, just be ready for all of that, Donna. I think this is going to be a big year for you. It just may not seem that way because it doesn't move fast enough, but if you evaluate yourself a year from today, you'll be very pleased with where things have gone.
Oh, that's so nice. Nice to look forward to. Yeah, I've been having visions lately. I'm a visionist. I see things, and I saw a man in white hair, and then I saw two nuns, and then I saw a man in black and white robes with kind of long hair past his chin, and with the most beautiful face I've ever seen. And I'm absolutely awake. I'm sitting in my bed, and I see them.
Yay.
It's amazing. So, just tell me something. But of course, I don't know. I just see them. I just see them. I don't hear them.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you found us again.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you called us here on the show, Donna, tonight. It was great to have you on.
So
And
great. It's really talking to you when I do, and thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. We'll be back with you guys on Sunday. So we do want to thank you for calling in tonight, Donna. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share, and we'll catch up with you in the near future.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Take care and good night. Blessings.
Bye.
Okay, and we are going to take our last caller here from area code 916. Hi, you're on the show. May I have your name and date of birth, please?
You said 916?
Yes.
Is it Carroll Province?
Carol. Okay, great. And what is your date of birth, Carol?
July 4th,
Okay.
1947,
At what time?
6:20 a.m.
And where were you born, Carol?
Chicago, Illinois,
Got
Cook
it.
County.
Carol, did we just talk to you?
No, I know Beretta from
Oh.
when I lived in California, Northern California.
Okay, all right, Carol,
And I
got you
just
here.
found out about this today.
And would you like a general reading tonight, or do you have a question about an issue?
Well, I think for tonight I'll just do a general.
Okay, and then I just want to let you know that the Blog Talk radio stream is going to run out in 7 minutes. But if we do get cut off, we're just going to keep going, and our YouTube stream will keep this up. So we're not going to drop you from the line or anything. We'll just keep on going with the reading tonight.
Okay.
Okay,
Great.
and then Beretta, what you got for Carol for a general here?
Okay, Carol, haven't heard from you for so long. Let's see what you got going on. So I feel like you've got another change coming. I feel like this may also include a whereabouts, a relocation, if you will. I feel like it'll be better, definitely different than where you're at right now. I feel like that this next move for you may be one that lasts a considerable amount of time. I'm not sure if it's because you just jive real well with it, or you're around the people that love you, or you're finding people that love you, you feel like you belong. Wherever it is that you're going, it feels like you belong, and it feels like it's something that will be absolutely positive for you, absolutely instrumental in bringing back your, bringing back your mental health, bringing back your physical health, bringing back your self, if you will, and it will also um, it'll push you to stretch a little bit. It'll push you to grow. It'll push you, but not in a bad way, not in a like do it now or else kind of way. More like, oh wow, I hadn't thought of that. Well, maybe I can adapt to that idea. And it once you and because you have to get out of the old mode, and the old mode has just been survival, I feel like it will help you ground and understand who you truly are, what you're truly made of, what you're here for. And it will encapsulate your history because you've got a lot of it. So those kind of things,
I know.
you'll be able to apply to what you will need to know in the future and upcoming time frame. But it'll be in a good way. It'll be like you're mentoring others to go through the same thing, or you're teaching, or you're telling your story so that they know they're not alone. Other folks have dealt with it too. And this is how you dealt with it. This is what you had to do. And you can share your life. Maybe it hasn't been peaches and cream, but you know what? I made it. I'm still alive. I'm still here in my skin, and I'm willing to share with you what I know. And it feels to me like you are about to take on the move of a lifetime that brings you to fruition, brings you to, catalyst you to that hope of love that you've been looking for so long. I feel like it may start out meager. You may have very little to start on, but just the fact that wherever you're going will exponentially grow, and it will exponentially go quicker than it's ever done in any manner before. It's almost like you can't like buy things for yourself. You can't start a collection of anything because you don't know if you're going to be able to have it. All those fears, all those worries, all those years of experience are behind you. So if you're paying on storage units all over the world or all over the country because you've been rushed all over the country here and there, to and fro, all those are going to be able to be brought together. All of those are going to be able to be unpacked. You're going to be able to have your belongings under one roof and know that nobody's going to ask you to move around any longer. You're going to get to stay right where you're at, and it's going to be okay. You're going to be loved. You're going to be wanted. You're going to be needed. And your self-conscious ability in a positive manner will grow beyond that shell of, well, okay, I'll live for today because I don't know about tomorrow. You're going to be able to know about tomorrow. Tomorrow's just going to be another better version of that day. That day is going to be better than the day before, and so on and so on. So I feel like whatever the next move is for you, it's detrimental that you don't overlook it. B, it's exponential in opportunity and growth. And C, it'll bring you everything you've ever wanted or have wanted for a long time but couldn't get. So hopefully now, and that's can pick some things up in your chart that will help dictate or clarify when and where all that's going to happen. So
Yes.
what are you finding for our next one?
Now, Veretta, you know Carol better than I do. So I just have to ask because this is immediately noticeable without even moving the dial. You can see that I'm going to add some blue squares here to this chart. You've got this at the top meridian admetosa one box. So that's like, things of very, very long duration. That's like my devotion, my firmness, my boundaries. That can also be my karma when it's combined with Hades. And on the other end of that axis, on the blue box on the bottom, you have Hades with Mercury. So that's going to be like ugly thoughts. That can be like bad words. That can also be spirit communication, like in Veretta's case, if we use the Hades in a positive way to lead more towards spirit or God. And so, Carol, when I look at this in your chart, all four of those planets with the moon at the very center of that in a circle that I'm going to be adding here, that means that circle sits at the midpoint of the two squares. So long and short of that story, that tells me as the astrologer is that for Carol, it is generally a struggle, if not an entire life goal, for you to unglue yourself from the poison, or like the cancer in your life, we'll call it, that this
You
lifetime.
guys are going to make me, I'm on the verge of crying here, but go ahead.
Okay, I just want to say
90 seconds.
we're gonna get. I know the BTR stream is gonna get cut off, but I'm gonna still keep talking. Carol, would you say that your life has been characterized by a perpetual struggle for emotional sanity?
Oh, yes. If you knew the books I could write. The thing is, everything Veretta said, and she does know that this move, and she just found out I'm in Texas now, and I
60
gave up
seconds.
storage. I walked away from a lot of stuff. The last temporary place that I was in, I had to call the police because this 6-foot-something woman was attacking me. She was screaming at me the second day I moved in, and it was the ugliest. And so then I'm here in Texas, and it was supposed to work out. I dumped everything. In fact, I only got out here in a rental car with whatever I could fit in, a Toyota 4Runner. So I'm out here with no car right now. But the opportunity was I'm in a fifth wheel in a park, and the friends that got me here and out of that situation.
10 seconds.
But it's been kind of a rough road. There was a hitch right within the next few months of my getting here that's really ridiculous. But the thing is, I stood up to it, and I made a promise that last one that got me here was the absolute last of that on the run, and all of it. I've done so much inner work, Veretta, and I feel already like a new person. It's been awkward, the standing up I had to do with the lady that was supposed to be, she's not a close friend. The first person she married was the guy I co-rented up in Auburn. And he is a super guy, but he's also too nice and codependent. Him and I, really, that codependent stuff from my childhood. But yeah, I stood up to it in a very positive way because I've been groomed not to stand up for myself. I've been groomed to do for others, and even when they got the reward of the recognition, I kept my mouth shut. I'm not a bragger. And I have had so many spiritual experiences that, I've been kind of angry at the universe after my husband's suicide, and that I had the near-death experience at 16. And really, I kept throughout the journey, awful ride I've been on, I kept saying, really? You told me I couldn't, it was beautiful, I was ready to go. I was even saying in my mind, however that works, that we still can hear our voice and the voice of others, and saying, oh, I've done this before, this is easy. And the voices, and it was more than one, I realize now, said yes, because they said yes, we know, but it's not time yet. But I've been going around saying, really? You kept me around for this? You got some explaining to do when I get there, because this has been rough. Yeah. But my goal is I've done so much work. What's good about being here, I'm in a unit alone for the first time in years. At least I have my own space. You know what I'm saying? I don't have all my stuff. I don't even have a vehicle. I have to depend on Richard to kind of get me to pick up groceries and stuff. But I have used every moment of that to go, at my age, this is it. I've had it with that. And my goal has been to finally be my authentic self. And as I stood my ground for months, I feel all that spiritual energy that I have not been able to trust or, flow in consistently is flowing through me. Even you calling or texting me today is a part of it. I mean, this right now, in the moment with you guys, this is part of that commitment that I've made. And as you were talking, I was just feeling, and I've done a lot of crying and letting emotions out because I had the space to do it. And I don't have the dog now. I lost Hunter before I moved here, and it had to do with where I lived and her dog. It was just really I've been traumatized so much. But I look back, and I know where it started. I was not even 15 months old in Chicago, and on the step of the brownstone where my parents lived with my grandparents, and my mom was pregnant within a month of delivering my brother that followed me. And I had a accidental taking my husband's painkiller from a dentist, and I thought it was my medication. But anyway, I mean, I had a full-blown vision of being that little child. I mean, I was in that basement and looking over at her, and I knew looking at her that she was miserable. She was unhappy, and that she had told me to sit there on that bottom step and be a good girl. And all my little body, I was that 15-month-old child, and all I wanted to do was crawl up those steps and out into the garden. I knew Grandpa grew tomato plants in not a regular garden, but had been in the flower beds, and where the detached garage was. Now, they moved me when I was 4 years old from there with two brothers younger under me. So long story short, I was that child and feeling that all I wanted to do was toddle up those steps and go in the sunshine because it was dark down there. And I realized my fear of rats for some reason when I was a young child was because she told me to sit there, be mommy's good girl, and don't walk around in the basement because there's rats here, which there probably was. But, I mean, I had that experience, and it was after I went to bed. I was already into being a part of Unity Church and learning to meditate. And within I know at one point, and there's more to that, but at one point a really dark energy started to come, and immediately a Black Panther type, what do you call them when you you have an animal, whatever, protector,
totem,
like the Native Americans talk about.
A totem.
It said, "You will not take her there." And whatever that was told me, you took the wrong meditation. You know, you need to get up. And I did. I stumbled in the kitchen, and I realized I had taken Ron's medication instead of mine. And I went back in the bedroom, and as I came around to head to the bathroom, because now I knew I was going to throw up. My body was just going to reject this.
Good.
And I said to him, I tried to wake him up, wake up. And then I threw up for hours after that. And then the next morning I did call after I got the kids to school and him off to work, the doctor's office, and she read in the drug book. So anyway, I knew I couldn't mark that to some hallucination. I've never taken recreational drugs. So, but it was real. And so the next day I called my mother, and I started describing this basement and all of this stuff. And I asked her, "Were you really miserable and unhappy when you were pregnant with Tom?" And she said, "Yes. I had wanted to take you and leave and go back to Scotland." And she wound up getting pregnant again. But
I forgot
she,
that. I forgot that.
She became the alcoholic, and I became the surrogate mom. And I have aunts that told my sister, from in Chicago, that said, yeah, even my dad used to say she doesn't need dolls. She's got real babies to help take care of. So, I mean, now to have, and I think now I'm in a flow of aiming. I have more gratitude. I mean, I say thank you because like even this, it's just that I don't know how to totally describe it, but I'm in a zone that's different than I've been, and I want it to continue. I'm
Okay.
not looking forward to thinking about having to move because it's going to upset an apple cart here. And I already turned down, within a few months of being here and before the blow up with Beth, and it was stupid. She's just trying to project some shit at me, and I tried to work it out, and she's just got issues. So anyway, my issue wasn't to just take it anymore. If you can't talk with me and talk it out and explain to me, just, and I'm not into people just fake apologies anymore. I'm looking for not apologies, but I'm looking for change of behavior in people.
Well,
I
Carol,
do sound
here's the
crazy,
thing. This is what's interesting about your chart. So we ask the question, what does this year look like? That's the one thing that we want to know. And so we look at 36 degrees and 20 minutes in your chart. That's going to be the midpoint of both of those green circles on our YouTube screen. That's your solar arc sun or 0 degrees of Aries. That's going to be this year. So we look at the midpoint of these first two charts here to see what is this year going to bring for you. And I marked this green dot here on the chart. And the first thing that's immediately noticeable is the fact that we've got this this box that I'm adding here. This is going to around that A for the ascendant and Saturn right next door to it. So that green dot falls on the midpoint of ascendant Saturn. That's a midpoint that very often has to deal with like separation from the environment. This is going to be like a really strong, powerful midpoint that we use for moving in a lot of cases. So then the question becomes, all right, so if we know then that this year is suggesting something about a move based off of one piece of information, let's get some more info about that and see what else is going on. So we put a blue dot right here on the ring above it, so to mark the midpoint of ascendant Saturn and your first natal chart. If we look at that same pink dot right a little bit above it, this is going to be the midpoint of ascendant Saturn and your second chart. And I'll go ahead and mark that here. So this is so you know what that is. So we got ascendant Saturn, that midpoint sits here. Now if we look at if we look at both of those midpoints, it's going to come to 7239, which is right here on the screen now. That other dot, guess what? We just brought in that circle on the green Aries point, 0 degrees Aries, your solar arc sun. So both of those questions, what does this year have to say about Carol? And what is a move going to have to do with Carol's life? Those are both the same question in your chart. And so we can see that here. Now we read that axis point of, kind of what's happening in your life about that move in this year, since we're working with both of those. And immediately the first thing that comes up on the opposite end of the axis right there is you've got that Mercury Hades, which we've already talked about, which deals with a lot of that general life depression you kind of like have to sort out, and it's a major life goal for you. So this is going to be your immediate obstacle to, like moving, is being in the right headspace to be able to move, because you're still kind of like reeling from whatever experiences that you've had in the past, and while you may be able to process them at a different level, to completely upheave that structure and to move into something new would be a little bit too jarring for you as of right now at this exact moment in time. So your immediate challenge is like your thoughts and like kind of like a lot of the negative self-talk, that whole track that begins in your mind. That's going to be a big thing that you're going to have to move past, because there's so much resistance you're kind of building up in your mind when you say, oh, I don't want to move. That's too much work. That's just crazy talk. I don't have time for that. Just immediately shutting it down because it doesn't feel right. It doesn't seem right to you, but yet at the same time, it feels right. This may not be something that I want, but it feels good otherwise. So I kind of got to go with that. And so then the question becomes, all right, so then what happens next? What's the next thing here for you? So if we look at that, at this, we see that you've got this meridian admetos with, I'm sorry, I'm going to redraw that. And in your second chart, you've got Meridian Admetos with the moon, which is a different expression or combination of how it combines with Mercury Hades. So at this particular axis point, your future in this case is going to be dealing with meditation. And I think you mentioned that at the beginning of the call was, that you were starting to get in touch with more of your meditative or spiritual self. And this is going to be where you find peace and comfort in life. So a lot of, that negative self-talk track, when that starts to play, jump straight into a meditation, do some ho'oponopono. Veretta and I hope to be starting,
I
like
love that. I love that. And
Mhm.
you really are right on. And I know I'm still in the process of it. And when the opportunities come up. Now I'm in one again that seems somewhat comfortable, and I'm a little under the gun. I don't have anything written, but they helped take out a loan. I'm paying for this unit and the space I'm in and the actual fifth wheel, but I don't have the legalities, and I'm a little on edge about that, because if something happened to Richard and the way Beth is acting, I don't know in the long run if I have any legality to anything, because there's nothing in writing.
no,
So
you'll be ejected, and so
I've
that's
been
going to be
using
pretty
the
shocking.
space. It's still I don't. So when the other opportunity came up to move to Austin with somebody that I did helped her when she did her self-published book, and I was editor for her. It wasn't because I didn't want to think about moving again. It was because I was worried about upsetting the apple cart with being grateful, or I'm hurting other people. That's the thing that I had to get over. I mean, that's that childhood thing that everybody else comes first and I'm last. And the guilt that everybody blames me then when something goes wrong. And I've had to give that up, and I've done, just a ton of work, but I know I'm not through it. And I'm still skating, not as much, but there's still things here that got shaky that I didn't think was going to come up that quick or at all even.
Well, and Carol, I'm sorry to use this harsh language with you because this may pull a few triggers on your end, but it's like your relationships with people, like the people who are near and dear to your heart, the ones that you spend the most time with, it's like there's this set like undertone of toxicity to the relationship itself. And then it's kind of like while you're trying to process all of this active grief and everything else that's going on at the same time, it's sort of like the relationship partner is almost, killed in a sense, like that they are shot, or, like that they just, that the relationship dies in a sense, and that's really, I think, where a lot of like the hurt comes from on your end that's so hard to process. And I think that may also kind of, put you into sort of a fight or flight mode of, controlling situations so that, you don't feel this crushing sense of abandonment, that's a thing for you. And I understand that. So, like this is going to be a relationship where you're not really too sure how it's going to turn out. But, at the very minimum, it's going to be ugly because everybody else always was. So how is this guy going to be any different? And so, you're just kind of like, how do I damage control this here? And to just rip off the Band-Aid and walk away would probably create more hurt than what it would good. So you have to kind of stick around in this for a little bit. Beretta, what advice do you have in this situation? Because I know it's kind of sticky.
Well, so this is what I get. Yeah, you do have to stick around a little bit. I think it will be good because you said to yourself, I'm not going anywhere anymore. I'm done. I'm done being forced out from where I'm at. That was the last time I have to run. You're absolutely right. That was the last time you have to run. Now, what's going to happen in the future is you're going to choose to go. You're going to choose to go before it gets ugly. What you're going to do?
You mean I'm going to put me first? I'm going to put myself first for a change.
Absolutely, 100%,
Yeah.
100%. Not only, Carol, are you going to put yourself first? You're going to ensure that you succeed, and by that I mean So before you go, you're going to get a legal contract that says if you decide to take that trailer and go, you're going to be able to continue to make the payments. That's not going to be the issue. And you're going to have what you need to move that trailer to wherever you're going to want to go. You're going to have the option to provide yourself with what you need first. So most likely what will happen is things will start to continue, or things will continue to get unsettled. Things will start to appear to you like, oh, here we go. And you're going to go to Richard and you're going to say to Richard, here's the deal. I can't stay here. I so appreciate this opportunity and I don't want to take it for granted. And I don't want to leave you in the lurch. So I'd like to draw up a contract that says I'm going to be 100% responsible for the payments, but I'm moving and I'm taking it with me. And you can come after me. I'll let you know where I'm going to go. You'll know exactly where I've ended up. So at any time, if I default on my payments, you can come and hook it up and leave. I don't care. But I'm out of here because I do not want to be in a position where I'm entangled with someone that tells me I have to go. It's going to pretty much transpire exactly like that. You're going to be able to say to him, I appreciate you, and I wouldn't, it would not have been able to work without your, taking me into consideration, and I don't want to take it for granted. But
see,
and he's going to
Veretta,
recognize
and he and I have had a conversation about the problem, and he has not backed out of his commitment to me, and he feels that
he's
it's
not gonna.
her that doesn't, and it's over something so stupid.
Exactly.
I mean,
that's why it's going to be okay. You're going to be able to point out to him, which he sees already, that she is not making you comfortable, that she's making your life a living hell, and she's doing it because she knows you're in a contract.
He knows it. He does, and yet it's not good for his health right now either. So I'm working through all that guilt about the situation. I'm having to accept it is what it is, but I let her know, and I've talked to him. I mean, that's new to me, to just really not run, not address it, and I think in a very healthy way, I've never been able to do before. And she's just projecting, and she's not younger than human. She's a user. I knew when he brought her from the codependent meeting, she has a background in drugs and alcohol, and so she's been in that program. And then the minute she walked into the same dependent meeting that he was in Auburn, she latched onto him. And I've said to his face, Richard, because I was really clear with him when I rented a room from him up there in Auburn, that I was about it was the first time I was going to be renting from a guy, and I had no interest in, and even
anything.
My friend went with me and said, he's never, tried to get fresh with me or try to date me or anything like that. But within a few months, she latched onto him, and I could give you the scenario when he first brought her over. But he wasn't even, he's been married 4 times, and he never gives
so that's
himself
why
a break. He never gives
it'll be an
himself a
easy
break
out
between it.
Yeah, it'll be an easy out, because you can actually say to him, I don't want to ruin anything you've got going on with her, but obviously something bad's going to happen if I stay. So I'm going to end this right now so you and I can remain friends, and we'll stay in contact.
She doesn't like him. He has to help me with the car right now. He was going to help me buy a car, and the minute I got here after COVID, used car prices went up like horrendous. Yeah. So that's been on hold. And but anyway,
like
she monitors how much time he comes over here to have to do anything, and it's ridiculous.
What will happen is that, people can troubleshoot that need for you to hook up to that trailer and go, and they will provide you with whatever means is available to them to get you where you need to be and get you set up, and you'll be fine. I think it's going to happen a little bit later in the year. It's going to take you that much time to get the courage up to go and figure out really where you want to find yourself. I don't think it's a coincidence that Spirit led me to send you, the link to the show, even after us not having contact with each other for years and years. I feel that everything happens for a reason. So
And
ultimately
that's
you're
been
going to get
happening
what you
all
need.
along here. And having
Okay.
patience, like you're telling me, is a part of it. And to get my mind in a space where I can stay with patience and not get back on the roller coaster of the negativity
Right.
has been just amazing. I really have to congratulate myself how much work I've done. But again,
Yay.
I've told Richard over and over, I have been so grateful for Justin, anybody that I've talked to that, for the space to find myself, because I've just not ever had that.
Well, give yourself a few more months, honey, and you'll be ready to go.
It was great to have you on the show
Maybe
with
even
us,
minutes.
Carol. Be sure to give us a call back in the future and
Yep.
let us know how it turns out.
Most definitely.
Yeah, you do this. I can't subscribe right now because I've got issues with being hacked and email addresses still not all reset up or contact lists. And I know you have to put in that when you
Just go when you can.
yeah. Okay. All right. Amazing. I'm just thank you.
Yeah, it was great to have you.
You're
Be sure to
welcome,
subscribe,
Carol.
like, and share. We'll catch up with you real soon. Take care, and until next time, many blessings.
All right. Bye-bye.
Well, okay, well, that is it for our show for tonight. We do want to thank everybody and all of our guests for coming out with us here tonight here on Celestial Intersections Radio at the corner of science and spirit. Again, my name's Ernesto, and I've been your host. It's been a very real experience as always, and thank you so much to everybody. And Beretta, a million thanks to you. We couldn't do this without you. I really appreciate that we have you here on the show.
Thank you for that feedback and affirmation. I so love every minute of it. Take care tonight, folks.
Yep. Good night, you guys. And until next time, we will be back with you Sunday morning from 10 to 11 a.m. for another 1 hour program. As always, we will catch up with you until next time. And it was real. It was great to have you. Thank you so much and good night.